sinners, and saints. Dust off those horns and halos. It's time for Alan After Dark.
Sinners, saints, bitches, taints, whores, sluts, buttfuckers, ass munchers, pole smokers. How you doing? How you feeling? Are you feeling well? Are you feeling sexy? Are you horny? I hope you are if you want to be. Something occurred to me just the other night. One of those weird realizations that I have. There was an incident that happened years ago. I was in Atlanta with a friend of mine, and I'm pretty sure we were there to see Madonna in concert. But we were going to meet some of his friends. We had been out drinking beforehand, and we were going to go to this restaurant and have a late dinner. As we're heading to the restaurant, my friend, let's call him Jay. Jay says to me, Alan, these are really good friends of mine, so could you maybe tone it down a little bit with your behavior around them? And I was like, oh, okay. I didn't realize I was known for doing things that were outrageous, but I just said, okay. I don't think he intended it the way it come out, but it really did hurt my feelings. It really made me feel like he was embarrassed by me. So we get to dinner, there are introductions. I'm polite and say hello, and during the rest of the meal, I didn't say a damn word. I would acknowledge something from someone, but I basically sat there and ate, let them talk amongst themselves, and basically just worked through it. We get back to the car, heading to the hotel. There was tension, of course, in the car, and he immediately says, Alan, I guess you took what I said really too personally. I didn't mean that you shouldn't say anything during dinner. And I just kind of shrugged and said, well, I just thought I wouldn't take the chance. That burned me for quite a while. He was asking me to not be myself. He was asking me to restrain and restrict my own personality. And when I thought about it the other night, it made me realize that he was, to a degree, being unfair. Maybe if he'd talked to me about it before we got into the car and were heading to the restaurant, I might have been more understanding of it. But how would you have felt if somebody that you love and respect told you to basically not be yourself? To put on this front for people that they know because he might be embarrassed. What he probably should have done was just tell me that he was going to have dinner with friends and I would have to do something else. I would have probably been more okay with that than the way that went down. And my silence during dinner, I think, wore on him because he recognized it, he realized it, and he was feeling bad about how he said it. Now, we're all good now. That was years ago, and he got a little taste of my medicine, and I got a taste of his medicine, and we were good. But how would you feel, honestly? I don't know how I'm supposed to take that. And it actually rings true even to today, that people can misread you, they can misjudge you, they can misunderstand any activity, any words, any gesture, and interpret it in some other way. But how much responsibility do I have to set the record straight if I've already set the record straight? I can't flirt with somebody, I can't speak with somebody, I can't tease them without them assuming that it means that we're going to be in a relationship. I think people really don't understand what being aromantic is. I almost wish I had never came out as aromantic. It would have been so much easier for me to just say that I'm too old and set in my ways to want to deal with a relationship, when actually both things are true. I am. I don't want to have to deal with a bunch of bullshit in a relationship. And I am aromantic because clearly it defines that. And I think that people just assume that when someone says they're aromantic, it just means that they haven't found the right person yet. And they will totally come around and totally change and be in love and get married and all that. In our own community, we're guilty of stereotyping people and assuming that everyone has to have a relationship. And blaming people if someone who wants to have a relationship doesn't understand that it's not going to happen, regardless of the flirtation. Unless a person comes to you directly and says, I want to have a relationship with you, Why would anybody you know read it any other way? So I guess you have to restrain yourself in all your behaviors around a person. You can't be yourself fully. If I grab five guys by the balls, why is it the one assumes that it means something more for him than it did the other four? You know, it's tough, guys. It really is. I don't know how else to say or what I should say about it, but I just needed to whine about it for a few minutes and get that out. I just keep worrying about what my friends are thinking and saying. I always assume I ran into a friend, we haven't seen him in a couple of months, and I just was worried that I had done something to make him mad. Always walking on eggshells. I hate doing that. I don't want to do it. I don't think anybody should have to do it. It's not like I'm trying to be vicious or cruel if I behave a certain way. I'm not trying to provoke anyone. I'm not trying to anger anyone. I'm not trying to break anybody's heart. But I guess if it's viewed that way, I guess I have no choice but to behave differently around certain people. You know, this all stems from that incident where I was really good friends with a guy. We had bonded very well, and I thought we were really close. And it just took one person telling him that I was in love with him and was wanting a relationship to destroy the whole thing. Because he believed that. He didn't bother to come to me and talk to me about it. He just made that assumption that if I was being nice to him, that I must be in love with him. That it can't be just love as a friend. I wasn't in love with him. I'm not in love with anybody romantically. But that friendship is totally destroyed now. And maybe he was embarrassed of me too, because people thought we were something, even though I was very clear that we weren't, over and over. But, you know, when you're hanging out with a friend and there's chemistry and you tend to sit together and talk quietly and have your own little jokes, your inside jokes, and that easy conversation, I guess people always want to assume that there's something more than just friendship. It's amazing the outside influences that can alter or destroy a good friendship. I just wish I could understand the workings of the human brain. I really do. I don't know. I think all of you know that obviously I'm a character. I'm a person who is a bit brash and loud and over the top. I can be very funny. I can be dramatic. All these things. And I love my friends. I love them passionately as friends. And it really is killing me to think that I could hurt someone, even unintentionally, to a point where it destroys a friendship. That's the negative side of relationships. They're so complex and complicated and messy, and I just want things to be simple. I don't want things to be all jumbled up. But what can you do? I can't repair a friendship that's lost. I let it go. I've let a lot of friendships go. It's never easy. You can put on a brave face and just move on. And I think as you get older and you get to be my age, it's not easy, but you can do it. It's like you just accept things much more quickly and are willing to move on. A lot of us will invest as much time and energy as we can into saving a relationship. But once you recognize that it really can't be rescued, that's when a lot of us older guys, I think, have learned to move on. Does that mean I want to forever end that relationship? No. If they were to come back and we start talking, who knows? Maybe a friendship could be salvaged. But nothing's guaranteed in this life. And it sucks to invest so much time in something only to watch it wither away. God, I'm sounding like an over-dramatic drama queen, aren't I? But I think things like this need to be talked about as well. We have to talk about things that aren't easy to talk about. And I'm sure you're asking me in your head, well, why aren't you talking to them about it? That's just it. In a lot of these cases, you want to talk to them, but it just only seems to make things worse. The one, if I tried to engage him in conversation, he would say, "See, he is in love with me." It was just so strange. Just the other night, he and his boyfriend came in to the bar on a night that I wouldn't expect. And his boyfriend comes over and hugs me, even though I could clearly hear him say, "Don't go over there. Don't go talk to him. Don't." But his boyfriend did it anyway. Because his boyfriend recognizes that everything that he believes is not true. And maybe that's it too. Maybe he wants to believe that I was in love with him. Maybe it's an ego boost to him. I don't know that though. I think I'm right in the first place that he was more embarrassed by the notion. You know that happens, don't you guys? You do know, right? That there are people that can be embarrassed of you. While they might love being with you and around you and talking to you, they don't want people to know. Now, I'm talking about something that's different than being in the closet. I'm talking about personality. I don't know. I just feel like my frustration is just spilling over because I've let it build up for so long. And I don't know what to do other than what I always do. And it is to vent it out and then let it go, heal, and move on. One way to move on, of course, is to go out to the mall or to the grocery store or wherever and take in eye candy, right? I was walking downtown the other day and a man was with his wife or girlfriend, I'm not sure which. They were holding hands and it was a relatively cold day and he was wearing white sweatpants. Now, I know you all love gray sweatpants, but oh my God, I was following them from behind, walking to my destination. I was not stalking, but I could not take my eyes off his ass. His ass just looked so good in those white sweatpants. And he was a kind of a burly guy, very macho bearish. 3 words, delicious. I'm just telling you, God, I'm done. He was amazing to look at. And I did get my fill of the Mohawk Man this week at the grocery store. He doesn't have the mohawk anymore. He has a full head of hair and it's all combed down. But he wears those pants that he wears. Oh, God, he's just delicious. Even though I did hear him speaking a couple of weeks back. And you know that whole thing where you can be surprised by the voice. You expect it to be one way and then you hear it and you're like, that's not what I thought you would sound like at all. Of course, we can't control how our voices are. That's just part of our DNA, who our parents are, our birth. Our voice is just what it is, right? I guess you could try to consciously change it and work on it and come up with some kind of method of doing that. But I think that would be a lot of effort and it would mean that you really do hate how you sound. Just record yourself sometime and then go back and listen to it. See how much you cringe when you listen. Trust me, when I first heard a playback of the first episode of Alan After Dark, I was just like almost mortified. I'm like, do I really sound that bad? I'm just lucky that a lot of people seem to like how my voice sounds. Anyway, I can remember years and years and years ago, a guy comes walking into the bar and he is, oh my God, 6'4", stud, big muscles. He was just a spectacular specimen. And everybody that's in the bar, our eyes are just following him as he comes closer to the bar. And we're all hoping maybe he'll come stand right beside us. Well, he happens to come and stand right by me where I'm standing because I was talking to the bartender before he came in. And the bartender was standing right there. Anyway, I was just absorbing him, looking at him and just thinking, God, what a beautiful man. For some reason, I don't know how to say this, but I was expecting to hear this macho, big, badass voice come out of him. And what came out was, "Excuse me, I'll have a Diet Coke, please." Now, before you all get your panties in a wad, He and I had a conversation, and he was a very nice guy and great to talk to. But it's just that his voice was not what I anticipated. It's just another one of those stereotypes that I fall into by mistake. All of us, we make these assumptions really based on appearance. We do. I don't think there's any way you can change that, but I know a wonderful man who's been a great friend for years, and he's, I would say you would call him twinkish, and he has, and you anticipate a twinkish style voice, I guess, but when he speaks, it's really big and bold, and it's a wonderful voice, and you just like, I just can't put the two together. It's sort of like Casey Kasem when he was alive. Do you remember American Top 40? And he was the host. And that voice is just incredible. He had a beautiful radio voice. And the first time you see what he looks like, you're like, what in the hell? That's not what I anticipated at all. But where does that come from, do you think? Where do we get that notion about if a person looks like this, they should sound like that? It's just strange, isn't it? But isn't it funny how many different unique voices there are? You wouldn't think there would be as many as there are, but almost everybody sounds a little bit different, don't they? Even within your own family. We all might look very similar, but we don't sound the same. I can speak that for a fact in my family. I think I have the least Southern accent of anybody in my family. Now, you all might laugh at that and think, oh, really? I have my doubts. But it's true. It's true. And it's funny how men's voices, when we get older, that they don't project as much. And I know some of you are like, yours doesn't? Really? Or maybe it's just my father's voice. His never, even like if we're at a restaurant and it's a bit loud, he has to repeat his order 2 and 3 times sometimes because his voice seems so muffled. He doesn't like project at all. It's a very strange thing. And I've seen several servers ask him to repeat his order, and they repeat it back just to make sure they heard it right. And so I don't know. Maybe I'm just different that way in the family. I don't know. In college, you have so many times that you speak in front of the class, presentations and such, that maybe we learn to project our voices out. Maybe that's it. And why the fuck am I talking about voice projections when we could be talking about sucking dick? And to be honest, the guy in the white sweatpants, it had the makings of a great porn. Let's say he saw me watching him from behind and makes an excuse to his wife or girlfriend that he needs to go pee in a public restroom, and I follow him in and just blow him right there. Ugh, God, that's just fucking hot. Just thinking about it. Boy, that's giving me a bit of a rise, if you know what I mean. After all this I've said in this episode, I know I can't change who I am. I don't want to change who I am. I feel bad that other people want me to change and be different. But I'm sorry, you fuckers. You're going to be stuck with me just as I am for as long as I can keep doing this. And I really have to say that I kind of feel sorry for people who expect people to change just because they want them to change. Honestly, how do you expect that to work? If everybody is molded to your image, what does that make them? Does that make them unique, an individual? Is that what makes you attracted to them? Did you ever think that perhaps the thing that you're trying to remove from a person is the part that really made you attracted to them? And what would happen then? You change them, then you're not happy with the change, and then you discard them? That would be a very shitty thing to do, now wouldn't it? But what do you expect from certain humans? The human mind works in mysterious ways. Or are we all just fucked up and crazy? That seems more logical. But naturally, all of us evolve in our own ways, and that means change. It just doesn't necessarily mean that a person's changing the way that you want them to. I wish there was an answer that satisfied me when it comes to human behavior. I just will never understand it, I guess. And I'm sure most people don't understand me, just like I don't understand them. At the end of the day, I guess all we can do is grin and bear it and accept each other for who we are. Whew, Lord, I didn't expect to be back on the soapbox this week, but there we were, right up there on it, spouting off my dribble. I hope you got something out of it, but if not, I'll try harder again next week. I hope you've enjoyed this episode, maybe got a laugh or two, or maybe something to think about. That's what I'm always here for. And as always, remember, take life by the balls and be real. We'll see you soon. Thank you.